Hawks and Oilers, Connor versus Connor, late night hockey. Let's do it on the CHGO Blackhawks pregame show. Welcome into the CHGO Blackhawks pregame show presented by Bet365. Download the Bet365 app. Use our code CHGO365 when you sign up. Whatever the moment. Wow, it's never ordinary at Bet365. I'm getting nervous. I'm trying to do it from memory without looking at the computer. I got it, but I bumbled it. So I'll be better next time. Damn. Sorry, everybody.
Be better, Jay. Come on. This is the pregame show for the biggest event going on in Canada right now.
Well, it's interesting. And that's Corey says biggest event in Canada right now. And this is something that's been weird to me and it's something we don't have to deal with in Chicago, is like when your team is from another state, right? Like, so all the Oilers fans hate the Leafs and they hate the Flames but all these fans love the Toronto Blue Jays. I think that is such a weird.
It's your only baseball team.
It's all you can do. I mean, my favorite college football team is from Indiana.
Yeah.
But I'm actually closer to Notre Dame than I am to University of Illinois.
Right. Yeah.
So that's a little different.
Yeah.
I just think it's strange. Like, screw Toronto except for this. And everyone's united with the.
Well, you don't have the. Well, you used to have the Blue Jays and the Expos, and you used to have the Raptors and the Grizzlies when they were in Vancouver, which made more sense because there are Grizzlies in Vancouver. I don't think there's many in Memphis. But then when you only have one team to go to, and if you're in Canada and you're a big baseball or basketball fan, I mean, yeah, you could maybe say one of those teams nearby, but like, you might as well just go with the Canadian team.
I guess.
Just gives all of Canada an excuse to celebrate.
I think it would just be weird. I don't know. I guess like that's like Hawks fans from Milwaukee or.
Yeah, like me.
You got to figure it out. Do you want to explain your face?
This is my face.
All right, fair enough.
It's November, which is also known as Movember to some people, and that is where people will sport a mustache for the month of November. Some people just do it for mustache aficionados. Some will do it for a good cause. Not that that's not a good cause, but they'll do it for fundraising efforts, and that is what I'm doing it for. Movember is started for men's health awareness and resources and initiatives, prostate cancer, testicular cancer, also mental health and suicide prevention. So that's what I'm doing it for. We've all had someone close to us, or if not yourself personally, affected by all of those things: cancer,
mental health,
mental health, and everything. I myself. And within my family, a few people that are very close to me have had prostate cancer. I myself am, I go to therapy to make sure that my mental health is up to snuff. So if you go to, I believe it's Movember.com, very simple. You can search my name, find the page, and if you feel inclined to donate, you can. I have a modest goal that I'm looking forward to reaching to raise funds for all those initiatives, or you yourself, if you want to, if you can. Grow a mustache, and you can do it for a good cause. It's good. It's a good thing to have that awareness for men's mental health, men's physical health, and it's also fun because I don't think I've ever gone out in public with just a mustache. Well, pretty much like 95% of mustache. I couldn't completely get rid of the beard because I've had it for 13 years, and I couldn't be without my beard. So
your security beard.
I grew out the facial hair as much as possible. As someone in our chat, the last post game was just like, did Mario gain weight or was it just his beard? I hope it was just my beard because I was growing it thick so that I could shave this down and leave the mustache pronounced. So.
Well, I will be donating to your cause. I will not be participating.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Because I do prefer to stay married. And there was one time I did shave my face into a mustache as a gag, and my wife said, I cannot look at your face.
You did like the Hulk Hogan.
I've done both.
Yeah.
I've actually maybe let's see if we can get $100 to your cause tonight. I will share my mustache photos on the post-game show.
Okay.
They're both shirtless, by the way.
Oh, nice.
From like here up.
I mean, they got to be.
Yeah. So
right.
I'll share both of those.
I'm currently at where am I currently at? I'm currently at $32.
All right. If we get to $100 by the post-game show on Mario's fundraiser, the link is there in the chat. I will share my mustache photos with the world.
There you go.
And not my wife. Sometimes when she's mad at me,
my wife was.
Don't make me do it.
I told her I wanted to do this, and she's like, "Yeah, you should," all that stuff. And when I came out of the bathroom, like looking like this, she was like, "This is going to take some getting used to."
I'll be back in a month.
Yeah. And my daughter, she's never seen me without anything but a full beard. So those viral videos of like,
oh yeah,
the dad will shave completely clean and then like reveal the face and the kid is like horrified. She just laughed her little butt off. Like it was really funny. So
that's good. Well, I mean,
good stuff.
You look normal, so I'll give you that. Like
Yeah, I'm happy that mustaches are like in still.
Yeah.
With men's fashion and stuff. So yeah, I don't look completely creepy.
Yeah. Good job.
Yeah.
All right, good cause. Let's get to $100 and we'll keep it going. You don't have to stop there. But a really good cause.
Appreciate it.
So, yeah, good stuff. All right. Hawks
to the
and
hockey.
Oilers. We are still kind of waiting on line rushes. They did not really run them at practice today. Mm-hmm. It sounds like Ilya Mikheyev's back in. Why don't we hear from Jeff Flashel? And perhaps by the time he's done speaking, we will have lines for you. Here's what the head coach had to say after this morning's morning skate.
Ilya Mikheyev, better hope tonight?
We're anticipating Ilya will be in.
How different is it having him back in line? He's just a versatile guy.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's a winning hockey player for sure, and he's important to our team, especially when you have a really young team. He's a guy that does an excellent job of playing a two-way game. He can, obviously he's been a really good penalty killer for us. He's I think really good in his own end. He just wins tons of pucks, and he's an important piece for us. So it'll be good if he can go. It'll be good to have him back in there.
Colton was saying that you've encouraged him to take a little bit more risks, maybe in terms of holding onto the puck. Not too much, obviously.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the one thing that I've talked to Docker about is he's a big body, right? And I think just having confidence with the puck. And when you're a bigger body, it allows you to hold on to it because you don't get knocked off the puck as easy. So that gives you that extra, split second to have that chance to make a play, or maybe it's a decision to live another day. And we've talked to all our guys about the risk management and knowing that balance of when to attack and when not to. But part of it is with him in specifics is, at his size, with his hands and his skating ability, is just, spending that extra split second, holding on to it and making sure he does what he wants to do with it and not, just throw the puck away.
Chris Knobloch was saying that this could be a tough team to pre-scout because a new coach, a lot of young players, don't necessarily know what the identity of this team is. What do you envision the identity when it's a finished product of this team being?
Does that mean we haven't been very good?
Well,
No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. I would say this, first off, I think any team that wins in the end has to have great two-way players. You have to be a great two-way team. I just don't think you can win without becoming a great two-way team. So that's one of the number one things that we're trying to do is build really good two-way players, guys that can create offense while still checking and don't have to cheat for their offense. Beyond that, I think we'll be a team that's a fast pressure team, and that's something that I think that we've done a fairly good job of at times this year is using our speed both to attack vertically, to attack offensively, but also to pressure the opponent. And I think when we've been at our best, we've been a pressure, reload, pressure, gap, transition type team. And that's what I think ultimately our identity can become.
Just want to be a pain to play against.
Yeah, correct. Yeah, take away every inch of ice, make the opponent earn every inch, make them feel like there's no space. We've got a really good skating forward group. We've got really long, good skating defensemen. So I think when we can do that, we're going to be when we have done that, we've been a good team this year.
You talked about how kind of the next step in learning the D-zone system as the defenseman jumping to cut off those rim arounds if they can. Are there any other next steps that you guys have worked on recently, kind of that second level of learning the system?
I think that's a big one. I think that what goes hand in hand with that is our forwards doing a good job of pass rushing up top, so it's more predictable for the guys to cut those off. We've talked certainly about that, and I think the other thing is just continue to learn kind of what we would call a reset. You get out into your man-on-man coverage, the puck goes back down low, let's get back to 5 guys in a tight quad. And we've been just okay at that. It's something that we're learning and getting better at.
Going right back to Spencer, you just want him to kind of put that last one off right behind.
Yeah, I think part of being a legit starting goalie in this league is just, it's an everyday league, and you're going to have nights that it goes your way and nights where it doesn't a little bit. And Spence has been great for us. Arvid's been great for us, and I expect Spence to come out and play a really good game tonight, but obviously a huge challenge against some high-end offensive players.
There he is, Jeff Flashel, and just as we predicted, we do have lines. That's all it took, was us replaying the pregame speech. So here's what we got. Bedard centering Green and Burakovsky. Nazar with Teravainen and Bertuzzi. Doc playing center today with Donato and Mikheyev. Foligno and Slaggert finish up your 11. And then you got Vlasic, Renzel, Kaiser, Levchinov, Grzelcyk, Murphy, Crevier, and Spencer Knight getting the start and goal. So good, very good to have Mikheyev back. And obviously we saw the difference Tyler Bertuzzi made after missing a game, coming back against the Jets, being very impactful. Jason Dickinson out for a while, it looks like. So this, to me, it feels like this is going to be the lineup going forward for the time being.
Might be, yeah. Also, Slaggert is in with Lafferty coming out because he was in last game. Landon Slaggert going to play against his dad's new team.
Yeah,
as his dad took a scouting job with the Edmonton Oilers. It's great to have Mikheyev back in. It'll be interesting to see how much time Doc gets at center, because we've seen with the 11 forward lineup a lot of rotating and shifting going on once the game gets underway. But that's an experiment. See what he can do. And he mentioned about Doc being able to be confident with the puck and be physical and be a power forward. And if he can do that down the middle, that's another little additive to his game. If he can play center and be an option, that just makes him even more versatile.
Yeah, I've liked what he has brought this year, and the question with him has been the consistency. That's been and health, obviously, but that's been the worry about Colton Doc throughout his career. Was he'll have these games where he's got 6 hits and 2 points and all this stuff, but can he sustain it? You don't expect the point total to carry over from Rockford to Chicago, but the physicality thing, the engagement thing, can. He leads the Hawks in hits by like 20. It's like
it's a wide margin.
It's like a 20 hit lead on anybody else on a team. And that's not really your only measure of consistency, but it shows you when he's out there, he's making the most of it. If they could turn him into a depth scoring guy, like if you could get like 25 or 30 points from him, which isn't a ton.
He's got 3 points in 11 games to start this season. So that's like, 24-point pace-ish?
Yeah.
Not.
It's a nice piece, and it's something they lack in terms of, the size up front anyway, until Mason West, overtime hero from yesterday.
Could be, yeah.
And Nesterso and some of the other bigger guys they've drafted recently, and Spellacy, and those guys that are kind of like on their way to the NHL. It'd be a nice, I don't know what his long-term future is with this team, but the more they put him in roles like this, like to play center means you've earned a little bit of trust from Jeff Flashel, and go out there and prove it, man. Like go show you belong. I really like the way he has carried himself in the room this year. He is a vocal guy. He is gregarious. He's kind of a tone setter in the locker room a little bit, and I like that. Yeah. The guys seem to like him. So I hope that he can find himself and carve himself a roster spot on his team going forward, because I think he brings something they don't have, and seems like a good dude, the kind of guy that can lead, give some like secondary leadership aside from the usual suspects.
Yeah, I think that would be a good path for him. I think he's a guy that has produced at the junior level and the AHL level, but I think once you get to the NHL level, it becomes a different game. He's been told from the organization for the last 2 years now, basically, like your path to the league is to be a big dude and be physically imposing. And this year he's been able to deliver that to the tune of 48 hits through 11 games, leading the team by a 25 hit margin over Nick Foligno's 23 hits.
Wow.
He's also won 8 and lost 8 faceoffs, so he's 50% at the dot.
That's really good on this team.
That's pretty good.
That's outstanding.
We'll see how it's tested tonight. But yeah, I would love for Colton Dach to find a role on what we're expecting to be the contending window of the Hawks, because I think he's a guy that is, like you said, like he's really good in the room. It seems like he gets along with everybody. He's a good, and it seems like he's a good energy for that group. And if his role is just the dude that hits everything, like there's worse roles to play in the NHL. Yeah. So yeah, I think he likes being able to lean into that aspect of the game.
Well, and it's mentioned in the chat. If you could just scroll up a little bit, Sarah, there from Paul Lynn says Dach needs to love playing physical. Doesn't always play that way all the time. I think that this is something we've discussed this a lot, where these young players come to the NHL or they turn pro, and they have to make that adjustment from being the best player on their team at whatever level it was at.
Yeah, yeah.
And then they move up the ranks, and they got to find their way. Like, okay, what am I going to have to do to stay in the NHL? And I think, Colton Dach probably thought of himself when he was drafted in the second round and playing through junior and all that stuff. Like, I'm going to be a scorer. I am a goal scorer. I'm a points producer. And then you get here and you're like, oh, man, I'm not really finding that success in Rockford or Chicago and putting up the numbers I'm used to. So it takes a little while to get that message, to figure it out. I think as a young player, you're probably thinking, oh, I'm just not getting the opportunities, or I'm not playing with the right guys, and I just need to get my chance. But the guys that can figure it out sooner are the ones that can begin that adjustment more quickly and find and carve that niche for themselves. I know we talk about it all the time, but if you watch Dave Bolland play in the NHL, you would never guess he had 120-some points for the London Knights.
130.
Yeah, like he was just a massive output scorer in London. But then came to the NHL and said, okay, that's not what I'm going to be here, so I'm going to be a pain in the ass to play against. I'm going to get under the skin of the Sedins and Joe Thornton and everybody. I've never seen a guy the way he got under Joe Thornton's skin the way Dave Bolland did. I've never seen him do that. So find that role, adapt to it.
And just to the point of like having to consistently play that role. I mean, here's his numbers of being physical each game: 4 hits, 6 hits, 6, 7, 4, 3, 3, 4, 1, 6, and 4. And one of those games where he had 3, he played 8 minutes. Yeah. So like he's out there, he's leaning into guys. So I think he's doing it. It's just, I think the biggest question is going to be, can he be available? Can he be healthy and be this role? Because that's a lot of hits. That's a lot of physicality.
Definitely.
But I think, he's a young guy. He's a big guy. Hopefully his body holds up for it and can find that role.
Well, as we move on and discuss the Oilers a little bit, this is another big test for the Hawks, right? And we talked about this with the Jets game is, all right, this will be a bit of a measuring stick. And I don't know. I know they lost that game 6-3. And I've seen some of the fallout from people that cover the team. I saw Ben Pope use the word ominous to describe the loss to Winnipeg. And I just saw a game where Spencer Knight wasn't Spencer Knight, and where Connor Hellebuck was Connor Hellebuck. And that was kind of the difference in the game. Edmonton is 1 point ahead of the Hawks with one more game played. They're 5-4-3. They are -1 in goal differential, and they are 3-0-2 at home. So they haven't lost a game at home, or they've only lost regulation losses at home. The Hawks are +4 in goal differential, 5-4-2 in 11 games. So I hope that Winnipeg loss didn't. Well, I guess I don't really care. It doesn't matter because I still think they're closer to what we've seen to begin this season than what they were predicted to be. I am fairly convinced through 11 games that this is not one of the 2 worst teams in hockey. In the Blackhawks.
Yeah, I would say they're probably closer to their pace that they're on, which is, I don't know, about 500 hockey. I would believe that they're more of that than basement dwellers. Now, of course, it's 11 games into the season. It's 1/8.
But it was only 5. Then it was only 7. Then it was only,
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's
right.
So.
But I do think there definitely is an air of this team isn't sustainable the way that they are playing, the way that they've gotten to this point, having to rely on Spencer Knight being a brick wall each night and, shooting as a team like 13%. Like that is a little unsustainable. But I think the minor, or not the minor, but the like micro details of the game are there. I think you hear it from Jeff Blashill. Yeah. He's harped on, winning habits, winning hockey, being hard to play against, hard on pucks, using your defensive game to help create your offensive game. Those are the things he's wanting to see, and pretty much most nights after the game, we're hearing him say like that they were able to do those things. Yeah. So I think the way that he's hoping to play with this group, they're doing it, and I think we've seen those results where basically the Winnipeg game, their last game, was the only game that they've had this year where they lost. It wasn't like they were out of it completely.
Yeah.
It's like they lost 3-1 the other night at home, but they had an empty net goal.
Netter, right.
So I think there's...
And I mean, it was 5-3, right? And
then,
they kind of made a game of it until then that 6-1 got in.
Yeah.
Late. So yeah, I mean, they've been right there.
I think they're closer in games and closer to what we've seen than being like, this is completely smoke and mirrors.
Yeah,
like,
I mean, think about like,
that.
so when we had our like preseason conversations about this team, and we go through our list of like, well, if this and if this and if this, right? So your first if, like, hey, can Connor Bedard be a point per game guy? Check.
Yeah, he's doing that.
They added that assist on Vlasic's goal, so he had 2 points the other night against Winnipeg. Mm-hmm. Connor Bedard is on a 104-point pace.
That'll do.
Okay, so is that sustainable? Maybe not. But point per game all of a sudden seems like, well, yeah, I mean.
Seems like he can get there.
Right. Nazar does not seem to be experiencing a sophomore slump just yet. Right? You're getting back of the card performances, maybe even a little more than that from Bertuzzi and from Teuvo. You're getting, Ilya Mikheyev is proving to be the same dude we saw last year, right? Mm-hmm. He's out there proving it. Nick Foligno has not shown a massive drop-off from age 30, well, now he's 39, or now 38. He's 39, but from
38.
38, yeah, sorry, from 37 to 38, he is still effective in his role.
Ryan Donato, 6 goals, 8 points in 11 games.
Yes, that's another one.
He's on the pace he was last year.
And Spencer Knight, as you said, is he prime Patrick Roy? Probably not, but are we fairly confident saying that he's one of the better 15 starters in the league right now? Absolutely. Yeah. So check that box. Now, where's the unexpected scoring coming from, right? Maybe that's we haven't gotten there yet, but could that be Louis Gravier? We'll see if that continues.
4 points in 10 games,
yeah, exactly.
tied for the lead amongst all defensemen.
But
I mean, that is
not sustainable.
That's a surprise.
But
and Burakovsky, 7 points in 10 games.
Yes,
like he's above pace of what we probably would have expected out of him.
I think so.
Yeah.
And Levshinov is starting to trend upwards. Rinzel has not been quite as dynamite as he was at the end of last year, but we're seeing some growing pains from both those guys. But the promise is there. The things that made us feel confident about them in the preseason is there, and you feel like as the year goes on, they'll get more comfortable within the system and feel more at ease, and those mistakes will lessen. So we said, hey, if all these things happen, if all these things go right, just maybe you're looking at like an 80-some point team. And that's they're on about a point per game pace right now.
Yeah.
So a little bit over that.
I'm happy with it.
If they end in the 80s in points, this is a master class. Yes.
And a massive success of the season.
Yes. And I think Jeff Flashel, he probably won't win it, but should probably get some Coach of the Year consideration.
I think you could say that.
Because every publication had the Hawks last or second to last. Mm-hmm. All of them. And I think we all thought we were sort of taking crazy pills when we saw those come out, like, wait a minute, are they not paying attention? And I'll even say too, like, there was something this week written by The Athletic, like, who are, like, which surprise teams are real and which ones are fake. The Hawks weren't even mentioned. Like, at the time, the Blackhawks were in playoff position when that was written.
Right.
And you don't even mention them as a surprise team? It's very strange. Yeah. I don't know.
I think
I'm trying not to, sorry to interrupt you. I'm trying not to, like, am I seeing this through, like, rose-colored, like, fan glasses instead of analyst glasses? But, like, I've been watching hockey for a long time. I know what ass hockey looks like.
Yeah.
And it's not this.
Yeah, we've been around for ass hockey since we started.
Since 2022.
Yeah. But I think from a national perspective, obviously the Blues game was wonderful for national conversation. Yeah. But then it trickled off, and I think since that game, they've had some good games, and then they've had some games where they're in it, but they've lost.
But then they smoked
smoked
Ottawa.
Yeah, and then Connor Bedard has a hat trick on Frenzy night, and apparently from people who were watching like the ESPN coverage, where they were going back and forth from all the games, they barely showed the Hawks game, and it's just like, well, Connor Bedard's getting a hat trick. Like, wouldn't you think that would be like ESPN couldn't have asked for a better thing to try and publicize, and apparently it was like barely mentioned. So I think there is a little bit of either nationally or whatever, where people don't want to get excited about the Blackhawks because I think maybe people were like really excited about the Sharks, but then they were last place last year, and then they got off to a terrible start this year. And people are like, oh, I have to retract all the cool things I said about the Sharks. It's like they don't want to do that with the Blackhawks. You don't want to see the Blackhawks get off to a good start, be like, hey, I think they're back as a national pundit, and then if they do regress down and whatever, and be like, you thought the Blackhawks were back, you idiot.
Right. Everything said. If you look at all the I just think it's I do think part of it too is like there is just a resistance from certain pockets of the hockey world to not give the Hawks credit.
Yeah,
and I get it. Like.
And I think
there have been some reasons to dislike the Blackhawks.
Yeah,
but
I think
you gotta be objective about what you're seeing here.
I think the corners of the NHL world that lean heavily into the analytics see this team's analytics and say, yes, of course this is unsustainable. They're not that good. They're gonna and they'll say they'll fall back and all this stuff. PDO is not sustainable and all that, and getting outchanced every night is not sustainable. Which true. But also, like, if you watch the product on the ice and then see the analytics and then see the results, if you mix all of that together, you can kind of look at it and say, I don't think the way that they're playing, the way that they're reaching these analytics tells the entire story, because they're competitive. They're not getting blasted, in chances and shots against and everything, and just happen to be puck lucking themselves into goals. Like, sure, first goal against Connor Hellebuyck is the most puck luck you could ask for.
Of course.
But other than that, like, you're getting goals where they're around the net. Like, Connor Bedard is sniping shots. Like, that's what you want him to be able to do.
But notice there's none of this conversation about the Winnipeg Jets, who are ahead of the Hawks in PDO. They're behind the Hawks significantly in expected goals for percentage. Like, so why is that like, well, this is certainly not sustainable conversation happening for the Jets? Because they were really good last year and because they've got a more proven roster? Sure.
Probably.
But when you've got a team full of young players like the Hawks do, they can't be proven until they're proven, right? Like, they have to have the opportunity to be proven. And I get that. Like, I think that's part of why the preseason predictions were low, because, look at how young this team is, and no team with this many young defensemen can have success, and we don't know what Spencer Knight is. But those of us that have been watching the Hawks closely every night, and in camp, and in training camp, and in the preseason, have seen, like, look, like they're, and even the end of last year, like, no one was watching the Hawks at the end of last year. Why would you? If you're a national, you're worried about a playoff chase. You're worried about seeding. You're worried about who's going to win the cup. I mean, eyes are on Sam Renzel and the Blackhawks at the end of last year.
Some were, but not to the point where it was just like overwhelming.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, and rightfully so. They were bad. They were a bad team last year. But, like, I don't know. I think that we have seen it more closely, and there's that term out of town stupid we've used a lot. I don't want to go as far as to say stupid, but, like, if you watch the Blackhawks play, you can see that it's not the same team it's been the last 3 years. It just is not. Now let's watch them lose 8-0 to the Edmonton Oilers, and we'll just delete the pregame show.
Sure.
All right. Well, the puck's about to drop. We will be here as soon as the game ends, and we've gotten to your goal. So mustachioed photos of me will be available on the postgame show. So come join us. Yeah, late night hockey. We appreciate you being up with us for the pre. Hopefully you'll be here with us for the post, and hopefully we're celebrating a Hawks win on the CHGO Blackhawks postgame show presented by Bet365.
We all silly like the mayor.